Welcome you once again onto another edition of Entrepreneur in the Nigerian Polity on Prince 89.7 FM. And before then, let me quickly give these birthday wishes to Abiola Oyeyinka. Yes, happy birthday to you. Dolapo Olagoke, happy birthday to you. I will not also forget Dr. Stephen Olakunle Oyedele. Happy birthday to you. Also, Comrade Rotimi Agboluaje, that is our usual analyst. We pray God Almighty keep you going and also give you more successes in the mighty name of Jesus. Like I've mentioned to you on our Facebook page, you can leave your comments there. On our Instagram, on X, you can leave your comments there. And like I've mentioned to you, I have a guest very much here because today we are reviewing Bodija Blast. So sorry. Bodija Blast will look at the usual causes, what will always eventuate such a blast, and also now that it has happened, what could be the effect? How do we tend to prevent it? Those are things that we'll be discussing today. And today, I have Head Department of Geology, University of Ibadan, Professor Olubenga Okunola is very much here. Let people hear that you are very much here. Good morning, Prof. Sir.
Good morning. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, sir.
Pleasure being here.
I'm very also happy. Like I've mentioned to you, you have listened to the voice of Professor Olubenga Okunola. That's the Head Department of Geology, University of Ibadan. But before we start the engagement proper, like I've mentioned to you, go to all our social media platforms on Facebook, on Instagram, on X, or even on YouTube. You get to listen to us. When the time is ripe, I'll open the phone line so you can as well leave your comment. You can call in as well, but not now that you can start calling in. I want us to listen to some audios. We want to listen to audios of victims of Bodija Blast. We have caught some of the victims. Also, I have excerpt from the Oyo State House of Assembly. Also, we listen to response team lead in Oyo State, emergency response team lead here, the former CMD, University College Hospital, Professor Temitope Alonge. Those are the three excerpts that I want us to listen to. Afterward, I will bring Professor Olubenga Okunola on here. Thank you.
Representing the good people of Bayonet to State Constituency, matter of urgent public importance, urgent need for all regulatory agencies to enforce safety precautions, especially in handling of and store of explosive dynamite in view of the explosion that rocked Bodija area on Tuesday, 16 January 2024. The House note that the devastating explosion occurred at the area, Bodija, Ibadan, Tuesday, 16 January 2024. At around 7:45 p.m., the incident left scores of residents injured and claimed the life of 3 people, according to information reeled out by officials of the Oyo State government. Further notes that the impact and effect of the explosion was felt 15 kilometers apart as affected resident building at Songo, Agbete Ologmeru, Samondele, Bashorunwashi, Mokola, among others, as well as ministries, departments, and agencies at the State Secretariat at Ibadan. Aware that His Excellency Governor Engineer Seyi Makinde was swift to react to the unfortunate incident as he visited the scene on the explosion the same night, and around that the hospital bill of those injured would be offset by the state government, while the governor had also named some hotels to accommodate those displaced as a result of the blast. As we speak, the State government has set up emergency situation headed by Deputy Governor Excellency Barrister Olawale to collate and coordinate names of the victims of the explosion. Further aware that preliminary investigation of security agents suggest that the incident was caused by explosive device stored in the area by a suspected illegal miner. There are also many questions begin to answer. Who authorized the keeping or store of the device in the house? Where and how were the dynamite stored in the said building? How long are the dynamite has been kept in that area? For what purposes were the device kept or stored? What were the safety measures put in place to avert potential blast? Was there regular inspection to ascertain and sign deterioration, damage, or manufacturing? Where were the security agents aware of the development? Why would someone kept such amount of dynamite in residential area? How are we sure that all dynamite have exploded? If not, are we not indirectly waiting for another disaster to have resolved? 1. Commend His Excellency Enyashe Makinde for his prompt response and provision of the alternative accommodation for those displaced in incidents. 2. Appreciate the security agency, Nigeria Army, Nigerian Police, Civil Defense, and Security Corps, Oyo State Security Network Agency, and Motekun, among others, for rising up to the occasion. 3. Command the National Emergency Management Agency, NEMA, and the Oyo State Emergency Management Agency, SEMA, to prompt development of the officer to the screen of the explosion. Appeal to the federal government and the emergency response agency to come to aid of the victim of the blast. 5. Call on security agencies to condole of the screen of the incident and search the area for possible leftover of the explosive. 6. Appeal to the regulatory agency to enforce safety precautions, especially in handling and store of explosive dynamite. 7. Call for true investigation into incident and bring the cops to books, no matter how highly placed to serve as a deterrent to others. Call on official of the Environment Protection Agency to do more in securing our environment. And 9, appeal to the residents of the state to be safety conscious and also to cognize of what happened around them. Mr. Speaker, I beg to submit.
The governor had given a mandate as to the speed at which we should complete the job. And so, remember on Wednesday, we conducted all the necessary tests before we commenced our search and rescue. And the necessary tests are NNRA, there's no radiation. We then decided to go ahead and do the bomb disposal expert coming to check. When all that was concluded, we began search and rescue. But we knew there were 2 houses that were of interest. And so the first one was to use the infrared to be sure there were no human beings alive under those rubbles. And I haven't confirmed that we began to do the excavation. We completed it at about 1:30 p.m. on Sunday, and that gave room for the NNRA to come back and repeat their assessment with their meters. And then the Geological Society, Geological and Mining Geoscience Society came, and then they began to measure the seismic changes in the underground. Because all the damages that were done outside of here, outside of maybe 250, 300 meters from the epicenter, and probably not the direct result of the blast, but there were consequences of the seismic changes in the underground. And so they wanted to conduct their tests to be sure that there are no consequences in the future. The NNRA also went straight on to ask them to go to the Minister of Environment to check the vehicles that were crumbled, again to do the radiation test. And all that is cleared now. And so we are now concentrating on the patients in the hospitals. All of them are doing very well. The ones in usage, I think 2 of them have had surgeries. All the children from the Ossos Girls Secondary School, they've all been discharged from JRAFA. And so we're actually on the road to recovery. So the recovery phase has commenced here, is continuing. But we know that this is just the beginning. There is a healing phase that will come when the elderly patients or the people that are in the neighborhood begin to complain of what we call PTSD, post-traumatic stress disorders. One of the commonest manifestations is lack of sleep. As it stands, some of them are beginning to exhibit it. I have a few in my house. One of the young girls just woke up and she couldn't eat and she was throwing up and feeling sick. But then a few hours after, she got better after coming to their house to check that things were in order. So PTSDs are a major concern now. But secondly, we also knew there was a lot of dust that came up in the air. So we've called on our colleagues in pulmonology to help assess those who have bronchitis, just dust-induced bronchitis. And this will be felt more by the older persons rather than children. So the recovery phase is going to be a long haul. We know that the governor has put in place measures to try and accommodate the recovery phase. From our own end here, we're good. We've secured the site. It's now a property of the Oyo State government. The NSC report, Nigerian Society of Engineers report about the integrity of the structures are going to be submitted to me within the next 2-3 days. And then we can mark structures that are not fit for habitation. So those that are stable, again, they'll be given a pass mark, and so they can repair their houses and get going with their lives. Well, every day there are new information that are unveiling. At the onset, people thought the illegal miners that were living in the house just moved in recently. But it turned out that, in fact, they've been moving things in for a period of, we thought it was 5 years. Then we spoke to a lady who lives in the United States, owned the house next door, but it seems as if the house has been bought over by the same person who have 8A and 8B. And as she she said the reason she left about 12 years ago was the fact that things were being brought in, and she questioned and challenged them. So now the neighbors are all confirming the same story, that somebody has been bringing things in the cover of the early hours of the morning between 4 and 6 a.m. and he reverses the vehicle into the garage and they offload whatever is there without the consent of the neighborhood. Unfortunately, this is the consequence of not speaking up. But I believe that many people in Ibadan now, everyone in Oyo State, would be each other's keeper, our brother's keepers. So they'll be vigilant now. If anybody's bringing anything to your neighborhood that you do not know what it is, you don't need to go and get a special permission from the police. You can walk to any police station. If you feel uncomfortable with the police, you can go to the SSS, you can go to the civil defense, because God forbid we don't want this to happen again anywhere in Ibadan or anywhere in Oyo State. The report of the Nigerian Mining and Geoscience Society will tell us the integrity of the soil and also if there are areas for which we should be concerned, so that we'll take necessary measures to make sure that people do not build on such areas. But for now, we really cannot tell the extent of damage.
It was around 7 o'clock. That was we're about to observe the Maghrib.
Entrepreneur in the Nigerian polity. Entrepreneur in the Nigerian polity. Entrepreneur in the Nigerian polity. Entrepreneur in the Nigerian polity.
Yes, you have listened to the excerpt. You have listened to that reaction at the Oyo State House of Assembly, and that voice of Honorable Gabriel Babajide, that lawmaker representing Ibadan North 2. Yes, Ibadan North 2. That the voice that you listen to, and also you have listened to the voice of emergency response team lead in Oyo State, Professor Temitope Alonge. I don't want us to, actually I have had it in mind also to let you listen to some of the victims, but the time is far flung because we have our guests right here. What we are doing today is just to review. We want to review Bodija Blast. That's one of the reasons why we needed to take all those, so that you know that we are not just coming here to talk what we do not see or what we have not found out. So apart from our own experiences, the findings we have made out, we also have a professional here who is going to help us make sense. And then we'll be reviewing Bodija Blast, like I've mentioned. We look at usual causes, effects, and prevention, because obviously what happened, you listen to Professor Temitope, who also said we must do everything to prevent such reoccurrence in Oyo State, and that's one of the reasons why you had to listen to all those long excerpts. But in a nutshell, let me bring Professor Olugbenga Okunola, Head Department of Geology, University of Ibadan. Once again, you are welcome, sir.
Thank you very much.
Yes, we had played some of the excerpts and you have listened, but something that got us confused. We found out that here in Oyo State, because everything within a particular state is governed by law, but obviously what happened got us confused, because at the floor of the House of Assembly, we found out that there has never been any law made against storage of explosive. What is your reaction in respect of this?
I'm sorry, that's incorrect.
Okay.
That's absolutely incorrect. You know, the Explosives Handling Act, even since 1963, is a very stringent law. Very, very stringent.
I'm very sure you two listened to the.
Yes. I mean, that's where experts needs to be brought in sometimes to explain situations. You know, sometimes when things like this happen, of course, everybody's worried. And so there will be a lot of things flying around now. The Explosive Act is a very active act, and to some extent, it's being followed. What happened in the case of Bodija was just a breach, especially a breach of monitoring, and a case of illegality. So there is an Explosive Act, And it's a very stringent law. You are not even supposed to, it's not everybody that is supposed to handle explosives. Not even every security agency. Miners, even the control of explosive is such a well-regulated, sector. There is no mining without explosives. Let's get that clear. There is no, and I'm talking to you now, blasting is going on in well over 500 places in Nigeria where there is mining. There is no way you can bring out any mining material, any quarry. Look,
without blasting.
Around Ibadan, here, 10, 15 kilometers around, you have not less than about 15 quarries. It's not the teeth that they use or cutlass that they use in breaking those rocks that are aggregates. You see a lot of construction going on with the express, All those aggregates are brought about as a result of blasting. So it's a very, very major part of a mining operation or a quarry operation. So it's going on every day. And so there are also laws that govern the usage of these explosives. Even all the construction companies that have quarries, the big ones, they know that they themselves cannot handle explosive without going through a stringent process. Apart from that, the Ministry of Mines and Steel Development, with the mines inspectors around, have also by law to be involved in handling and even the usage of explosive. I will let you know something. It's not everybody that can blast. You must have a blasting certificate. Not only that, anywhere you are blasting, you must have a blaster. And not only that, the law also provides that the mines officer, in case of mining and quarrying, will have to be there and to monitor. So the laws are there, the monitoring is there. But what happens, and like we've been seeing with Nigeria, is that sometimes people break the law. And apart from that, even the storage of, I don't think there are many explosive manufacturing companies in Nigeria, maybe one or two, and they are highly controlled. But you find some of these explosives and blasting materials of different grades coming through the borders, illegally. I want to correct a little impression. You see, sometimes when you use the word illegal miners, it's sometimes out of ignorance.
Okay.
Out of ignorance, let me use that word. So who is an illegal miner? If the security agencies bring out their report, I don't know what their report is. But from my over 40 years experience in the industry, at least I started practicing since 1982. So I think I have a little bit. And I've been in the civil service, in the public service, for 19 years. I've been in the industry before joining academia 20 years ago. So I think I've gone through the gamut. Now, there is all those guys that you're calling sometimes illegal. You would discover that they have a license. And there are different stages of licensing.
Okay.
You have the prospective license. You have the artisanal and small-scale mining license, which if you have a company, can obtain. Exploration license before you go to the mining lease. What is likely to be the case, I don't know, but it's likely to be the case is that these guys you are calling illegal miners will have one form of this license somewhere. But you see, what goes around in mining is a kind of illegality within a cycle of legality. Wow. You have this license, but the operations within are not shrouded in some kind of illegality. And this is what happens, If these guys are said to be miners and they store explosives, these are the guys who supply those who are mining in the field these explosives to now blast the rocks to do the mining. What happens is that they call them the sponsors, or in the local mining term, they say sponsorers, and these guys are the ones that use these laborers. When you even go to the fields and you see in the mining sector, Kyogun and even around Olodi and all that, and you see these laborers, everybody calls them illegal, but they are operating under a license owner. So that license owner is now the one that now supplies them with explosives. Is the one that now supplies them with food. Is the one that supplies them with the little equipment, the drilling rods and the diggers and all that. Which makes everything done there legal. Which makes it so to say legal. Illegal. And then what they do is they don't pay all these laborers you see in the field, in the mining fields. They don't pay them any salary. It's not like an employment. So they go into some percentages. I will supply you with all these materials okay, you are the laborers, you take a particular percentage, you give me a percentage, and we give the community or the concerned owners even some percentages. So that is what really happens. The illegality here is a breach of monitoring. The law is very strict about handling of explosive. Before you even handle an explosive, you must have what we call a magazine. A magazine is a place where you keep explosives, and it's a technically designed material. I mean, technically designed house. You know, warehouse. It's not, may not be more than what we have in this studio, but the walls must be very thick. The floor must have, the foundation itself must be very thick.
In fact, from the findings we made, I remember when Professor Timotokwe was talking to us, he mentioned that there was a bunker which was dug, and it was when that thing was to be exploded, it traveled through, beyond the earth.
I don't know what information and all that, but please, let's talk to geoscientists when it comes to things like that.
Okay.
They will explain very
much
well.
more. Okay.
I need to talk on that, because so that why I'm here is to not to let us go with some kind of incorrect, notions, impressions. Let's get it. We owe Nigerians actually to educate ourselves properly beyond sentiments. Now, explosives are not supposed to be stored in any residential areas. A residential area. They are not even supposed to be stored in a town or a city. They are supposed to be in the mining fields. Let me also tell you something. Many don't know that there are 1 or 2 good magazines, even in some of those mining areas, even in Oyo North area, where mining is going on. Certified even by the security agents, where explosives are kept for those who are in the mining field. Now, if these guys have kept, I don't know what the investigation is and all that, the results may be, but maybe those who have more information, if they are kept underground and they put these explosive materials on the ground, number one, who certified that on the ground?
That place.
2, who even allow them to put explosives around,
that vicinity,
the building area? What explosives need is a trigger, a little trigger, even a cigarette smoke.
Wow.
And I believe what may have happened is that maybe there was a spark somewhere. And when you store these gelatines, you store them in stacks. Why the devastation was so big, huge, was because these explosives materials, these gelatines, were stored together. So it had a relay effect.
Wow.
So immediately the spark went off, you just had it boom, 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 boom. That was why the vibration was felt 20 kilometers.
Even 250 miles.
You felt it at Pete, felt it at Kobo and all that, because it now set up what we call shallow vibrations. And then you now started filling with the foundations and all that. If it had just been 1 or 2 explosives, maybe it would have just brought down only that building. But there was storage of not 1, not 2, not 3. So there was a breach. How did they have that access to that environment? And they've been keeping explosives there for a long time. Who are those monitoring? And when we get there and we explain some of these things, why we need to take caution. It's not only Ibadan, even everywhere, and what we need to do.
The program is Entrepreneur in the Nigeria Polity on Prince 89.7 FM, and you have been listening to the voice of the head Department of Geology, University of Ibadan, Professor Olubenga Okunola. And don't forget, today we are reviewing Bodija blasts. We are looking at usual causes, effects, and prevention. That's obviously what we are discussing today. Before we move away from what you said last, could we know exactly the type of explosive that went off, that shook even 250 miles away from that epicenter? Because some said C4. I know, being an expert, you'll be able to,
I don't know what you mean by C4. The point is, there are different types of explosives. I don't know. The bomb experts who are there at the site will be able to say this is the kind of explosives. But I will just appeal to all of us. Let's wait until investigations come out. Some of these things have security implications. So everybody's talking and all that. Sometimes we Nigerians need to be patient. When something has happened and there are processes along the line, let's know what happened. But the point is, anything that can blast a granite is very hard. I mean, you see all these rocks that you see. Anything that can blast a granite up to about 2 meters and bring out, the rocks, for you to be able to crush them, must be very, very powerful. Quarrying is going on. when you see a quarry says they are bringing out 20 tons, 10,000 tons per day, do you know how much the amount of power of the explosive you need to even bring out 1 ton? So you know that the amount of explosives that are actually buried in the ground for you to get the explosions and the breakup of the rocks must be huge. So you have gelatines, you have TNTs and all that. Then you have even the smaller dynamites, everyone with different levels of intensity. The ones that were stored there in Bodija, we may not know.
Because some regarded it dynamite.
And you see, dynamite is another form of explosive, and then everything, so explosives and with firearms and all that have different effects. There are some explosives that are meant to shatter. There are some explosives that are meant to open up. And there are some explosives that are just meant to make loud noise. Even the bangers we do during Christmas.
An explosive.
It's an explosive. But the effect is just, that's why it goes up in the air and all that. So if it is now packed with a lot of material that is meant to shatter, that is meant to crack,
to break.
And even there are some explosives that don't need noise, don't make noise. And people are using that in the mining industry now. It's just, you just bury it in the ground, and then it starts dissolving, the rocks as a result with the cracks that are there. Do you even know the kind of mining that is going on in areas like Igara, where they are mining marble and carbonates and all that, which are not so hard? It's even simple. It's even like what we call advanced denudation. In the afternoon you have much heat, and in the evening it is cold. So by the time you wake up in the morning, it is cracked. That's nature. If you look at all the soils you are seeing, they were broken down from rocks. Every soil is broken down from a rock in the process that we call weathering. We all look at this, but that is the problem. That's even nature. It's because you have extreme heat during the day, and it's cold during the night, and then by the time it causes expansion and contraction, and it begins to break. Let me give you an example. If you have a frying pan, an empty frying pan, and you put it on fire and you heat it up, and you just pour cold water on that frying pan, do you know what happens? There will be vibration. Serious vibration. Yes. And then it starts pattering, so to say. And then it starts having a vibration, hot something. So it's the same thing that happens when it's heated up, and then you now pour cold water, then it shatters. So in that area, they use that to just break the rocks, and they use minor explosive to further break. So there are different types of explosives for different grades of rocks, and for the different amounts of materials that you want to disintegrate. The specific one that was used in that place, I don't want to speculate. I believe the security agencies who are experts also are working on that. But the fact is, it was an explosive. And the reason why it had such a very big effect, I've seen a lot of blastings in the fields and the quarries, which are legal. You see that the blaster is there. And I can tell you, people are trained to blast. It's not everybody that can blast. It's a very, very
so we usually have professional blasters.
You have professional blasters. You have a blasting certificate. Somebody, they get certified for blasting. And then the mines inspectors are always also there to supervise, or their representatives to
monitor.
To monitor. So what, again, like I was saying, we need to now do is to look at where we have been having these breaches. Let the security agencies from this also, because I can assure you there may still be, I'm not saying there may still be where explosives are stored for this usage, and you never know where the next accident is waiting to happen. So these are the different types of explosives that you did. Specific one, I think the security agencies, and then that it could have such huge effect, maybe long effects within the shallow, setting up shallow rally waves, and then causing the vibration, is because the amount of the explosive was intense and it was big, so to say.
Thank you so much, Prof. Sir. You are still listening to the voice of Head Department of Geology, University of Ibadan, Professor Olubenga Okunlola. Today we are reviewing Bodija blast. usual causes, effects, and prevention. You can as well start leaving your comment on our Facebook page. I've received from Ambassador Ayobami Omoshu saying thank you so much. You can as well leave your comment. They are not only about greeting us. You can see you are enjoying our program. Thank you so much as well. Prof, sir, that Bodija epicenter is inhabited by professionals, learned, and even members of the ruling class. And some still say there was a sort of carelessness. What have you got to say in that regard?
Carelessness by what? The people? No, don't blame the people. Look,
that was what people
let
say.
me just say this. You're also educated. I mean, as far as journalism is concerned, I'm an illiterate, even if you call me a professor, whatever. And as far as my area is concerned, so when people say you're an illiterate, I always say it's relative. If I show you that this is an explosive, will you able to know? I mean, I had when this happened, we were even in Ilorin attending the Nigerian Mining Council, and we had to rush back to Ibadan and all that. And some of my professor colleagues who are not even geoscientists and all that say, how does that explosive look like? I said, you see, it's not that you don't, but they may not know. They are not something like bread and butter. They are kept in boxes. People can bring in boxes. Will you come and start searching what is inside my box that I'm carrying to my house? I have some lovely level of privacy and all that. So you can't even blame the people around. People say, they are not vigilant. They say explosives is not what you drop like with trailer loads and all that. An explosive that can break a 50-ton rock
at a time
can be inside the box. It can be inside a box. A single gelatin that you can use to trigger with the cables and all that. The cables are just like this microphone that you roll, and then the gelatin you can just put it. It's just like you tie it, just like you tie. How can I say, just anything, and then people will not know. Nobody knows what I keep in my bedroom, and it's not also your business. But I think where the breach came, and it's unfortunate. Where the breach came was that the law was not followed. Some breaches came in terms of security monitoring of the usage of explosive, handling of explosive, and the fact that those who handle that are not supposed to handle it, and it's not supposed to be kept there. So what we need to do, let's be strict about enforcing the law of the handling of explosive. It's very, very important. As I'm telling you, there may still be explosives being stored all around. I think we need also to go to the quarries. Let's go to the mining fields. They're not so far away. This is a clarion call for everybody. I mean, it's a learning curve. So sometimes once things like this happen, as unfortunate as it is, as sad as it is, you still have to also learn some lessons. And the lesson is this: okay, all you quarries, how are you handling your explosives? Where are your magazines? Who are your blasters? How much explosives are you expending in a week, in a month? Where is the supply? So there has to be a chain that is monitoring these things, and then intelligence has to now,
come to action.
Come to action. How do these explosives move? Now we know this has happened. Let's use that as a trigger for intelligence gathering. Who are those that are now handling the explosive? Let's look at. You see, there is what you call the Mirem Code. You see, there are laws in Nigeria, beautiful laws. Even when people say, the mining law it's a very beautiful law. Even the state government within the mining law, they have an instrument that is called MIREMCO. That is the Mineral Resources Environmental Management Committee. It's an instrument of the mining law that is even supposed to be headed and also headed by, the officers of the state government. It's a provision in the law where the state governments will also be very, very, in a position to monitor mining activities even that are going on in the states. And one of the things they should have is all the list of those who have had licenses, who have been having licenses. You have a list of those. There should be revalidation. But of course, the MCO sends, the mining cadastre office sends this list to the state government. You monitor them. Who are they? Are they really doing what they should do? This Environmental Management Committee, which is headed and chaired by an official of the state government, and what the state government should even do is to empower them, because they are not empowered. That's even why you're having some of these lapses.
They are not empowered.
They are not empowered. I think they should be empowered. Empowered with logistics, empowered with even training, empowered with finding out what is happening. So if they are properly empowered, then some of these lapses, some of these breaches will
not be there.
They will not be there, and then you'll be able to know who are these miners, who are those having legal licenses, who are those not really having legal licenses. So how do they carry out their operations? And also the people that are supposed to be monitoring. Look, I don't blame them. Sometimes we are so harsh on ourselves. But if you don't provide me with the logistics to work, how am I going to use my head to start walking up and down? How many people are mines inspectors, federal mines inspectors here in Oyo State? I don't think in their office I don't think they are up to 5 or 6.
Wow.
Look, the truth is this, and we need to face the truth. As I'm talking to you now, mining is going on in less than 60, 70 places in Oyo State. Close to us here, about 20 kilometers or 30 kilometers. Oh, no, there's no mining in Ojo. It's like just a marketing center. Okay. That's another thing we should correct. There's no mining going on in Ojo. It's just a place where all the mines materials, they trade with them, the gemstones and all that. So there's no mining. If you look at like Olode, Olojuoro, towards Bayo, Jebugo, and from Olunde here and all that, you see a lot of mining activities for a stretch of about 10 kilometers. If you go to Okeogun, right from after Ipakpo, then you go to Iwerele, Komu, Agurege, Ofiki, and all that, to the border of the Benin Republic, Ilesha, Ibaruba, and all those places, there are intense mining activities going on in several locations, and they blast. So how do 3, 4, 5 mines officers with just one operational vehicle cover all this?
Thank you so much. In case you are just joining the program, it's Entrepreneur in the Nigeria Polity on Prince 89.7 FM. Let me give out the phone lines now, so you also can start rolling out your course. You have been listening to the voice of Professor Olugbenga Okunola, Head, Geology Department, University of Ibadan. The number to which you can call and also to be part of the show is 070 48,000 897. Can as well call 070 47,000 897 070 48,000 897. We have got the fourth caller. Hello.
Good morning.
Good morning, sir. Your name and where you are calling from?
I am Steve with Dele Tola, calling for Sokiri Oluwegbeda.
Thank you so much, sir.
Elashiyori.
Thank you so much, sir.
I am happy to hear you and the prof today.
Thank you, sir.
In fact, what he said is in line with his profession. I'm a geographer as well, reading law as well. Combine this one, give me joy to hear from the prof. In fact, telling us that there's no law or existing law is wrong. Let me tell you, under the law of thought, we have what to call a nuisance. What happened there is nuisance. It's a related nuisance. When you allow anything called explosive that can escape from one land to another person that can affect it, is nuisance. We have 2 types of nuisance, public and the private one. What can we call the one that happened at Bodija? You can see that it's a private one that caused the life to be lost. There, under the real land and the franchise, it's like when you put anything that can escape, dangerous thing that can escape from your own land to affect others, it's nuisance. That is the one I want to start with. There, we need to talk to our people. Talk about mining according to our prof. Anything that can ignite, that can cause fire, is part of mining. You cannot do anything like it's like you are going to get water or oil. There are 2 ways by which you can get something by drilling. This one that happens, we can get anything under the gas from the use of open cast method, which can explode. We need to talk to our government. They should be signaled enough. Imagine that the place called place of juries, people that are well known, well later. So you think careful. When you see something, say something. According to the slogan, when I go, we need to be a border keeper. What happened there? He was too tough for everybody to withstand with. But they're talking about the freedom. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
The way I manage this program, I want to give back to your about that place. We thank God. I think I hear another news today.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much, sir. That's Mr. Stephen Oyedele. Thank you so much. You can as well call 070 48,000 897 070 47,000 897, and in case you are listening to us outside the country, shop +234 902 195 8459 +234 902 195 8459. Don't forget, you can leave your comment on all our social media platforms, on Facebook, on Instagram, on YouTube, on X. You can as well listen to us on Radio Garden, or you download our app on Google Play Store. The number through which you can call and also to be part of the show is 070 48,000 897 or 070 47,000 897. Don't forget, today we are reviewing Bodija Blast, and we are looking at the usual causes, effects, and prevention. Today I have Professor Olubenga Okunola, Head Geology Department, University of Ibadan. I want to make this question, Prof. Sir. We know that when it comes to mining exists on the exclusive list, and the findings have indicated that it appears the federal government enjoys while the state does not. So what do you think we should do? Recently, it was just last week, we received the Minister of Mine and Steel in Nigeria, Mr. Dele Alake. We asked him what should be done so that the state, because when it comes to this said monitoring, it is within the purview of the federal government. And when this is with this your call now, how do you think the monitoring and supervision will be more efficient?
Thank you. You can see me. I'm laughing. I've been having series of interviews like yours. I was still on NTA Tuesday Night Live yesterday up to 12:30. The previous something too, and saying this, and what I've been saying about the series of interviews is also what I am saying. We need to understand some things. I know this is something that looks emotional and then sentiments, controllers, but Nigeria's mining law, where there are areas where you need to tinker with, aside in environment and fines and all that, that we still need to look at, maybe think about. The Nigerian mining law is one of still the best laws. I mean, when you look at the Fraser Mining Index, you see, professionalism in everything must come to pass. Everything is not about sentiments. Let's look at what the world says about your Mining Act. And you even ask a question, why is it that the big guys who are supposed to be doing mining are not even here? Now you're talking of illegal mining, you're talking of artisanal, because they constitute about 70%. There is no nation where the GDP, the mining sector constitutes a big amount to the GDP where you do this kind of mining. It doesn't work. Let me give you an historical background. Nigeria, the mining sector was contributing almost 12% to the GDP of Nigeria's economy.
Sorry, Professor, we have got this caller I want us to listen to. Hello?
Okay.
Hello, good morning, sir.
Your name, yes, sir? Good morning, sir.
Yes, I'm Olawale.
Okay, from where, sir?
I'm calling from Ibadan.
Can you please speak up a bit?
I'm calling from Ibadan.
Oh, thank you, sir. Your contribution, sir.
Yes, sir. Sir, the question I want to ask is this, that I don't understand. All these miners in Ibadan, are they illegal miners or not? That's one question, sir. Thank you, sir.
All right, thank you. Prof is very much here. So, Prof, the caller asked if miners in Ibadan are illegal.
Where are the miners in Ibadan? Is there any mining going on inside Ibadan? That's why I did the education early.
Yes.
Mining is not going on in any city. What happened in this case was an explosive was stored by those who use this explosive in the mining fields that are far away from Ibadan. So there was a breach of them storing explosive that is supposed to be used in the field far away from here, even in the quarries that are around here. I don't think there is any illegality so much in our quarries in Ibadan. Everybody knows where the quarries are. They have their names and they have quarry leases. So but the ones maybe that may be far away, where you have all these artisanal miners and all that. So those ones handled explosives illegally. And if when you talk about illegal mine, everybody now wants to see sometimes negativity makes us to be cloud, reasonability to get extent for almost all of us. When things happen, we get so emotional and negative. No, when you talk about who is an illegal miner is somebody who is mining without license and not doing it according to the law.
No.
In this case, there was no mining in Ibadan. Those who handled the explosive may have been miners and they may have had a license. In fact, from the initial records, they had a license that was issued by the MCO for them to mine, but they are no miner, not even a construction, not all this construction industry, whether Julius Berger or wherever. These ones that are doing are supposed to handle the explosive anyhow. They are supposed to be kept in a place that you call a magazine outside where you have human existence.
Wow.
So this case was a case of illegal handling or mishandling of explosives.
I want to ask this question because of the time. How do you think Nigeria can make much money from mining sector?
That's what if you have allowed me to finish with what I was trying to say about licensing, that's where it starts from. What the federal government is doing, the federal government holds the license in trust for the federation. The federal government of Nigeria does not have a single mining license.
Wow.
No. And that's what I'm saying. Let's understand the law. If anybody, you are a journalist, please make it a point of duty to now find out if the federal government has issued out a mining license for itself. What the law says is, please come. You have a limited liability company wherever you are, and you have satisfied what you need to do. Come and take a license. Do all the reports. Let's say one thing we tell the state governments, and many of them are wise and are doing it. You're talking of controlling the resource. Yes, you are free to obtain even 100, 200 mining exploration licenses that covers your state.
Wow.
Then you control your resource. Look, bureaucracy does not mine. Governments, states or whatever does not mine. You can't use your money, your budgetary allocation to go and do mining. You are still spending 5 billion, 4 billion naira to get a gold deposit out that you're going to be there for over 10, 15 years. Yes. Are you going to take the money of a salary and the salary something, pensioners, the one for infrastructure to go and just set up one mine? No, that's not what is done. These state governments all have holding companies. They have companies that are state government owned. All the state governments, including whether your state or Osun state and all that, what they say is that get your holding company, come and apply for license under a kind of a central control, and what is done is to maintain order. You see, if we now have different layers where people are issuing licenses, investors won't come. Investors don't do business with bureaucracy in the mining industry.
Okay.
The mining industry is a different industry entirely. It's a very sensitive industry because it's an industry where you are putting in billions of naira and you don't want it to be affected by political cycles. A governor comes in 4 years who says, okay, I'm issuing this license. Another governor comes in another 4 years and revokes all these licenses. Where does the man who has put in $1 billion naira and has got an exploration for 20 years, where does he start from? He starts battling. That's why they kept away. Even despite the fact that these laws are say, okay, the federal government, you have a central mining cadastre office in which anybody in the federation, including the state governments, could have the licenses. Despite that, the big ones are still waiting for us.
Wow.
We still don't have a Rio Tintos. We still don't have the De Beers here. Not because we don't have the endowment. I don't have enough time to go and tell you about the endowments. They are so huge. But they keep away because they want to see your governance structure clearly defined. Now, if you now move from here and to the other, and then you have not ordered, they will keep away. Why are we in this dilemma? Why the mining industry is not contributing what it should be contributing is that by 1975, you now did an indigenization decree in which you said you are now chasing away all the companies, 60% to Nigerians, 40% to foreigners. To foreigners, whereas they were owning it before, and they all kept away. 100 companies left Nigeria around 1975. Today, we have not recovered. These are British companies, American companies who had the wherewithal. We had not yet had the capacity then. We had not had the funds and all that then. Now they kept away. Now that's why we're in this dilemma. What can we now do?
Yes.
Let's get our governance right. Let us know that this is the license something. And the state governments know this. You can control your resource. Then when people say, oh, they don't have, the state governments don't have it. I gave the example of this Miremco. The mining, the mineral resources environment, it is even an instrument in which the states can know what is happening in each of their environment. You can enter into MOUs with all these big companies. You can't use your money to mine. Nobody uses his own private money to mine. That's what you call equity. So you bring in the people who are the investors from foreign something, and then you have this license, and then they come in and then develop it. If this is done honestly, big guys will come in because they want to put their money and they will do it. Everybody say government should mine. Where will you get the money to mine?
Thank you so much, Professor. I know the time is not there for us anymore. We want to appreciate your guesting on Entrepreneur in the Nigeria Polity on Prince 89.7 FM. Let me quickly appreciate those people on Facebook. Ambassador Bami Omoshu, thank you so much. David Sowu, thank you so much. And also Honorable Babalola Said. And also those that are called in, Mr. Stephen Itonla, and also the other man. This is how we shall call it a day. The program returns next Wednesday. And next Wednesday, by His grace, we'll be having another guest. Many thanks to Professor Olubenga Okunola, Head Department of Geology, University of Ibadan. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for.
Yes, I will not also forget to appreciate my producer, Boluwaji Ogunyemi, and also I have here worked with me, Prince Way Ogu. I also have director of programs here, Wale Olaogun. I will not also forget Timitope Adewale, and also Doyin Sola. In case you have one thing or another to pass across to me, can call me on 00642146750 00642146750. February 14, Prince FM will clock 1 at Bawayo. Until next week, I remain Olawale Ogunbusola. Bye.